was a declaration, a tweet that President Trump made regarding fentanyl and the security of the northern border. We did the work. David and Mark are here to make sure that people around the Hill in Washington are aware, and we had a meeting with Tom Homan, the border czar, where we exchanged information.
We did the work, but it didn't seem to make a difference. That's Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly speaking earlier about how the government has been working with the U.S. The White House confirmed they will impose tariffs on Canadian goods starting tomorrow. Trump says nothing can be done to stop this. Joly has been in Washington with two other cabinet ministers in an attempt to make a final diplomatic push. She says the federal government has been laying the groundwork to face Trump. Canadian businesses are gearing up for the tariffs expected to be put in place tomorrow. To help make sense of it all, we've brought back Cato Pastoll. He's in studio with us tonight. He's the CEO of Loop Financial. It's a cross-border banking platform for Canadian businesses, so it's perfect to talk about this subject. First of all, thanks for joining us again. Hours away from these proposed tariffs, Cato, how long before we actually see the impact in our wallets?
Yeah, the impact is essentially going to be almost immediate, both to consumers and small businesses. If we see an impact in the form of raising prices on consumer goods, both on the Canadian side of things and the U.S. side of things, we're going to see things become more expensive. And we're also going to, as a result of that, see businesses start to have an impact on their sales.
A lot of people worried about our response and maybe even making it worse. How do you think we should respond? Do you think the retaliatory tariffs are the way to go?
Yeah, well, when we look at the data, it's going to have about a 3.8% impact or so on our GDP. If we retaliate, that number could go as high as 5% in terms of the impact on our economy. So we do have to take that seriously, and we have to think about, 3.8% is already a very significant number. We don't want to make things worse.
No.
But while we're looking at the tariff situation, we also need to make sure that we are getting to the negotiating table as quickly as possible. At the end of the day, a 25% tariff is not sustainable. It's not sustainable for Canadians or Americans.
The US, yeah.
So we need to make sure that we're acting, but ultimately getting to the table so we can get a deal done that ultimately avoids this in the long term.
I mean, what is a good response? What do we need to put in place? And what do you think that would look like? Because it just seems the president, he's saying it's because of this, but then we do that and then he still does it.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get to the bottom of it. Ultimately, there's a deal to be done here. And I think, what we need to do is make sure that we're taking the actions necessary to make sure that those conversations are accelerating. That should be our number one interest, is that, we're not slowing things down, we're speeding things up. What I would say in that regard is, as we think about the efforts that are going to take place, we need to really think about who is going to be impacted the most and start to think about how do we start to mitigate the risks for the people who are going to be most impacted. We spoke a bit about small businesses last time. That's an area where
you're talking about specific industries then?
Small businesses as a sector as a whole, but then also specific industries, yes.
Next couple of days, a lot of uncertainty for businesses. How are they, bracing for the inevitable here? Can they even prepare for this because they don't really know what's coming exactly?
It's really difficult to prepare for this, and I would say the even bigger problem than the tariffs themselves is the uncertainty around it. Running a business, one of the most difficult things to do is deal with an environment where you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I think that that's what a lot of business owners are dealing with right now, is trying to plan for next week is next to impossible when they don't know what's actually going to happen, what's going to be the impact on the prices of the goods they're selling. So we are starting to talk to businesses at the moment about contingency planning. So, when the tariff comes into place, how can they set their business structure up to try to minimize the impact of that tariff? And, that's going to be a conversation that's probably going to be ongoing for the next few weeks.
Your business has a foot in both countries because you work across that border. What are some of the things you're going to be keeping your eye on over the next little while as we move, and to make sure that we're actually moving in the right direction to deal with this properly?
Yeah, we're going to be looking at all of our customers, how they're trending as a whole, what the credit performance of our customers look like. So we want to kind of be paying close attention to, are our customers starting to see a decline in their revenue? Are they starting to become more stretched from a credit and capacity perspective? Those are things that we need to see as signals early on to make the decisions and determinations about what is going to be the end impact on small businesses.
And how to advise them moving forward.
Exactly.
All right. I feel like we're going to be talking again when we actually have some certainty in this and how to deal with when we know some specifics. Cato Pastoll is the CEO of Loop Financial, a cross-border banking platform for Canadian businesses. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.